Why do I feel like it's not turn on? Well, they look like they're turned on, they just sound so quiet. Alrighty. Hello to anybody that might be watching, either now live or later on after this gets posted onto YouTube. So usually I work in Fire Alpaca. If you've seen any of my other videos on YouTube, they're all of me working in Fire Alpaca, but it's a bit late at night, and I'm not going to draw for all that long. I just wanted to do a little bit today. So I thought I'd come and have a bit of a go in this software instead, which is called ArtRage. You can see up here. And I have used this software before a few times. I find it uh, much more difficult to navigate. Maybe the interfaces. I guess it's not difficult or overcomplicated or anything like that. It's just I don't find it quite as intuitive as Fire Alpaca. It's still a really great program. There's probably a couple of things that I'd say uh, maybe a little bit problematic. That would be that working at larger sizes within the program tends to be a bit slow, can be a bit laggy. We'll see how it performs. I'm just going to check the paper measurements for A4 paper. I should know that. by heart by now. I know it's like, I think it's 29 point something by 21 or something. Yeah, it's 29.7 by 21. I'm just gonna go 30 by 21 because that's practically it. 30 by 21. We use canvas. We use high pixels per inch because in case we ever want to print whatever we make. Say okay. Right. I have to zoom right out. Geez, that jump is not very good, is it? Let's try 30. Also, the shortcuts. I'm not sure if it's just that the shortcuts. Oh, undo is working. I don't know what pan is in this program. I can't remember. It's kind of been too long. uh, in lots of programs, it's spacebar, which is what the shortcut is. I'm just looking for the tool right now. Let's have a look. This is kind of what I mean by I don't personally find the program as intuitive as other programs. I feel like it's laid out a little bit differently. The main big sort of difference about this program is that it does a pretty incredible job of mimicking traditional mediums like paint and things like that. Um, I'm not sure if I can compare it to anything else because this is probably the only software that I've used that sort of really does this. So you can see this is the oil brush, settings for the oil brush, and presets for the oil brush. So there's a lot to muck around with. It can get slightly overwhelming because there's lots of settings to muck around with, lots of presets to muck around with, and then there's all these different brushes. So this is a watercolor, paint roller, pastels, gloop pen. I think this is acrylic or paint tube. Then there's ink pen, airbrush, and they've all got a bunch of different presets and a bunch of different settings that you can muck around with. So yeah, the layout is really quite different to other programs. Like these all move around. I'm kind of used to my layers being on this side because of Fire Alpaca. I can't make the presets any skinnier. I can only make it like taller or shorter. So I'm just gonna sort of stick it over. I don't know what these do either. What are these? Let's just press one and see. Nothing? Cool. Well, I guess I don't need them then. I didn't see anything happen. Stickers? Okay. I can't imagine that I would ever use these. Is this literally just... I don't even know how it works. Fireball. Okay. Oh! Okay. Then there's a fireball. Oh, and it just erases the whole thing in one go because it's like a clip art or something like that. I don't think I'm going to use those with stencils. Again, not too sure. Guessing you put these down. I'm not even going to try because I can't be bothered. Now, do these... Oh, geez, even those have got presets, huh? It's kind of annoying that the preset window up here changes size depending on the... And I get why, because, some have more than others, but it makes it difficult to arrange your windows. Doesn't it? I think it kind of does. We're not going to use stickers or stencils, I don't think probably ever, so we'll just try to make enough room. That's about the longest one, maybe. That'll do. Okay. Might be okay. Now I just have to figure out how to pan or... Oh, wait, no, that works. Why does that work? Pretty sure this is. Now it's working. I don't know what that's about. It wasn't doing that before. Alright, we'll see if we get any lag happening when we try to draw and paint and whatever else. Don't even know what everlasting oil, dry clumps, dry varnish, normal round, normal square. Alright, let's go with normal square. As I was mentioning before I got distracted by moving all these windows around, one downside to this program is I've found trying to work in larger sizes, at larger like pixels per inch, so higher like resolution I suppose. I have had issues with lag in the past. And another one is that the brushes, obviously you can adjust the thickness here. They go to 100%, but 100% isn't very big. As you can see, hopefully you can see here, that's 100%. The brush size, the largest I can do on this particular setting. I just zoom in a tiny bit more, so hopefully everyone can see the brush strokes, how it looks. This is kind of a hideous color, to be honest. Yeah, so hopefully that's showing nice and clearly, but you can really see that it looks very, very, very very, very painty. Much more so than Fire Alpaca or any other program that I've personally ever tried. It's really nice. I don't know why I haven't mucked around with this program before. I think I've just hit a few walls with it. In terms of user friendliness, lag, I remember has been a really big issue, which is a shame. And then the restrictions on the brush sizes has also, I think, been a bit frustrating for me. But also just maybe how many options there are and everything can get a little bit overwhelming for me personally. Some people might really love how much you can muck around with all of this. It's just a bit much for me, maybe. But it's a really powerful, really interesting, really great art program to have a go of. It's not free, but as far as how expensive software can be, I'll quickly look up the price on the website, and once I'm finished streaming, I will put a link to the website in the description of this video after the live stream is done and it's posted to YouTube. I'll add the link in there. I'm looking on the website right now. There seems to be this like back to school sale going on for the software right now. It says 50% off. I'm kind of assuming that's just for anyone and everyone. It's available for Windows and for Mac. I'm pretty sure that's the full program. Yeah, I think so. So it's usually $80, which isn't bad. It seems to be 50% off right now, so it's $40, and that's I think that's Australian dollars. I think what I'm seeing is Australian dollars. Could be USD. So yeah, you might just want to, if you want to check that out for yourself. I'm gonna get back off the website now because nobody else can see what I'm seeing, but you can find it easily. Just do a search for ArtRage. It's written just like this. ArtRage, like that. Should be the first thing that comes up. Yeah, so in case you're interested, in case you want to check it out, that's what it's called. There seems to be a sale on at the moment just by chance. I had no idea about that. So I might even look into if there's any updates or anything that I might want to add to mine, but I'll leave that until after the stream. Just in case they've kind of maybe addressed some of the I won't call them big issues or anything, but some of the complaints that I kind of have, like, maybe they've addressed some of those, you know? Like maybe they've improved the how the program runs a little bit. Maybe they've made it a bit smoother. I don't know. You can only hope that as software, as newer versions come out, it improves, right? Like that's what you'd really hope. So I'll look into that myself after the stream. Um, yeah. So I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm just see how big can this eraser get? Yeah, it can only get that big. And is there a marquee tool? Yes. Maybe I can just. Well, at least there seems to be quite a few options for the marquee selection tool, which is great. Can I just delete? Yes, I can. Nice. Okay, and the shortcut for deselect is the same. Control D. I should get that I don't know what it is. It's like a little add-on or something. It shows what buttons you're pressing on your keyboard. Probably wouldn't be all that handy really. There's also this palette knife. Sticker spray. Oh, I just can't imagine. I don't think so. Pencils, so like grey lead pencils. Auto smooth me. I don't know what that does. That didn't look that smooth to me. 50%, Jesus. That's as big as it gets then, apparently. I'm in a blue, which is... Oh, I did see that. I did see that. Yeah, yeah, smooth out a bit. I'm not sure how easily it shows. It's not that significant, I don't think. There is pressure, softness, and smoothing. So the smoothing's on 30. Let's see if I bump it right up. But I don't see that much of a change still. I mean, yeah, a little bit. Sure, why not? I'll leave it around 80% precise. What happens it? Oh, okay. That's what I mean. So many options everywhere. So many little hidden bits and pieces. Hard and dark. It looks the same as the other one. Honestly, it really does. I can't see any difference. Is it just me? That looks the same too. Ah, jeez. I mean, this one's a slightly different shape. They're meant to be grey lead pencils, so they're not going to be very thick. And you can still change the colour of them. Are they meant to be grey lead or just it just says pencil. It's meant to just be a pencil. So they're not going to be super thick. Because it's meant to be emulating a pencil. So you could arguably, I suppose, do yourself some sort of loose. Oi, eyes that are really far open are kind of scary, huh? You could do your loose sketching maybe with this these pencils. Pressure softness is there. I remember I always preferred this instant eraser because it just got rid of stuff quick. I'm just wondering if there's any pressure sensitivity on the eraser. I I don't remember. All I can see is what's pressure do? Is it? I think that introduces. Okay, that does nothing. It's kind of almost like the opacity of the erase. Maybe. New preset. Yeah. What did it just say? No. Yeah. I'm not sure if there's a one that has a pressure sensitivity kind of, so it's not just that. That was potentially another frustration I had when I've used the program previously, because obviously it means you have to kind of change the size of the eraser all the time for finer parts or larger areas or smaller areas, rather than being able to rely on some pressure sensitivity to do a fine erase, like a fine gentle erase in the corner somewhere. I might look into that surely. Surely that's something I can change. There's also this, I think it's glitter tube. I don't know. I don't know. Some of these seem like a little bit. Sorry for the yawning. It's getting a bit late. Some of these seem a bit tacky. I'll make them as big as they can. Yeah, like what would I ever use that for? I just can't imagine. Like it's so small, even at 100%, even if it's at its largest application size or whatever. It's so little, and I just can't imagine. Maybe I'm lacking imagination, but I can't think what I would use that for. Easy dirt. I mean, yeah, I guess it looks like dirt, but is it really gonna work with the rest of your painting? I don't know. Yeah, some of these things are just like confusing to me. Like I don't know when or how or why I would use any of these. But I suppose, it's it's okay. Like some people might think of something that they want to do with it. Some people might be intrigued by glitter, like simulated glitter. Um, yep. I'm trying to just remind myself of all the things that are available. So sorry if this seems kind of pointless at the moment. I'm just trying to remember all the things that are in here. Um, as I mentioned earlier, I have used this program a little bit in the past, just here and there, just mucking around. Something about it never got it to stick with me personally. Doesn't mean it's not good. Doesn't mean that other people might not love it. It could become your new favorite art software. You know, if you give it a if you care to give it a try, could really you could potentially really like it. There's lots of I think the biggest strength of the program is its ability to do paint, sort of like emulate paint. I'll open an old file. It's not impressive at all. Um, yeah, so try not to judge me too harshly. I hope I don't lose this one. Here we go. So this is an old. Let's try 35 zoom. This one's not the better one actually. Let me see if I can open. Oh, good, that one's still there. Bear with me. It'll just take me a moment to find the file, and I'll open it up. It's similar to that one. It's just the colors are a bit different. Yeah. That other one I'll have to do. I mean, I'm just trying to get the point of the texture, so I'll leave it really far zoomed in. So hopefully it shows clearly enough that you can see all the brush strokes and texture and stuff. That looks quite a lot like paint. It does a pretty good job of simulating paint. And I've seen some pretty impressive stuff from Procreate. I don't know if it does this. I don't have Procreate. I'd love to try it, but I don't have an iPad. So if you like this kind of look and wanna have a go of something like that, and yeah, this is again PC and Mac. You should be able to get this for and have a try if you like. Yeah, even though it's a quit application. No, I don't want to quit application. How do I just close this? How do I just close this? Close painting. There we go. Cool. Great. So this is it's it would be good if it showed everything that's open in tabs up here. Fire Alpaca does that, but you seem to only be able to see the one that's active at the time. Which again, you know, slightly not as intuitive and user-friendly as it could be. But I'll talk about some of the strengths of the program maybe. The main one being how well it creates really great texture with paints. And if you look around a little bit, either on Google or YouTube or wherever else, you should be able to find pretty easily some really impressive paintings made by people. There are also examples on the ArtRage website. You can find some really, really, really impressive examples of paintings that people have done using this software. And from what I can recall, you wouldn't know it was done digitally. You know, just looking at it, I feel like I don't want to like be eating my words about that. So I'll look ArtRage artworks, I guess. Not exactly sure what to search, but yeah. I know you can't see what I'm seeing, but if you Google something along those lines, or yeah, even on the ArtRage website, I'm sure there's examples on there. They're very impressive. I feel like the ones I'm looking at, I think I can kind of still tell that some of them are digital. Like, I think it's just the brightness of the colors that kind of gives it away. But, you know, the mixing of the paints, and the really beautiful textures that ArtRage does. Yeah, looks really good. Looks really good. I'm sure I could find better examples, but I don't want to spend too much time doing that. I guess I'll just uh, keep mucking around on here and give people a bit of an idea. Oh, the metallic's at 0, good, because I don't want metallic. For the sake of example, I guess I'll see what it looks like and turn it right back down again. So I've laid down some paint in quotation marks there with the paint tube, and now I'm going to the palette knife and I'm gonna just like smear it out. This was something that really annoyed me. Like there was no. Oh, I'm still on paintbrush, that's why that's happening. I didn't select the palette knife. Whoops. So hard smudge. There's a whole, again, look how many there is. I don't know. I think the hard out smudge was sort of the one I liked. And that just lets you like pull the, you know, as if you're using a palette knife, pull the paint outways as far as it can go. And you get these like, I mean, you know, it's pretty impressive. You get these dried out end bits when the paint starts to kind of run out. You can really smear it around, kind of feather it out. So I mean, you can create pretty convincing looking things. I'll zoom in further. Hopefully this, yeah, there we go. So hopefully again all the details are showing. But there's like, you know, like light and shadow being created by like the sort of blobs of paint. You can do all this cool smearing kind of work effects. So I think I will be working with this software from time to time as well. Hopefully people are sort of like a bit patient with my lack of experience in the software. I'll still try to create some interesting squeeze a different color paint on there and then like smudge that in. But you can see, look how nicely it like smudges the paints together, blends the paints. It's so nice. And no lag so far, which is great. And this is a A4 size canvas and 350 dpi, so like good resolution and everything, like print quality resolution. And I'm not having any lag. Could be different with your PC and whatnot, but it's positive so far. But you can see I'm not making anything in particular, but you can see how nicely it emulates the the experience of working with with real paint almost. It's pretty nice. Like it's so even if you don't make anything, it's kind of enjoyable just to do this, just to like smush stuff around. It's really it's really nice. And again, because I haven't used this software in quite a long time, um, and I, I've kind of forgotten lots of things. I'm just gonna muck around a little bit, find my footing again, um, hopefully give other people, you guys, anyone that might see this, a bit of an idea of some things it can do. I've also got features up here like auto clean. Then there's maybe different shapes. Like there's so much, so much. I feel like you could sit and use this software all day, dawn till dusk, and you probably would have a hard time trying everything that there is to try. Um, yeah, good or bad, for better or worse. There's a lot. There's a lot going on, but the thing is, like, for me, anyways, this is what I do. I just sort of like muck around with everything, try a few things from each section, and you'll find the things that you like to use. Like I can remember, I like to use the paint tubes, the palette knife, um, and I like using these, both the oil brush and the water brush as well. I never used pencils a little bit. See, the pastels I don't think I ever really got super far into. Let's see, hard, heavy pastel, light pastel, medium, crayon, solid pastel. Let's try some solid pastel up in here, see what happens. I mean, it's very, goes down very sort of thick and solid, as you would expect. Let's try medium. You know, questionable green. Oh yeah, okay. So it kind of, again, I'll zoom in even closer so you can hopefully get a really good idea of what's happening here. It looks pretty cool. Like, I never played around with the pastels too much in this program, I don't think, but look how nice, again, with the textures, because I chose to use a canvas, so when you start a new painting, I think they give you, yeah, this option over here. Look, there's all these different art papers, there's different canvases, there's decorative things, there's, look how much you can start with. Concrete, what? Special. So there's blackboard, candy wrapper. What? Like it's pretty amazing how much there is. Like it's pretty cool. It's just a really fun thing just to muck around with, even if you don't do anything serious. Um, in terms of like some amazing artwork, doesn't matter. Still really, really, really fun to get in here and muck around with it. And yeah, just the way things interact is so good. Now, I feel as though in real life, the pastel and I think it was a marker that I put down, ink, they probably wouldn't blend together like that, but that's not a big deal. Let's see if I go to a different layer, if I do a different layer, it doesn't affect it, I don't think. Let's put it over the top. Yeah, it just goes straight over the top, which is kind of what I would expect. Alright, that's fine. That's okay. And then I think from memory there's something to do with like smudging or something. What's this one? Felt pen. This one? No, glue pen. I can't remember what the glue pen is. Instant shaded pipe. I just got no idea. That's what the glue pen does. Whatever this is. Whatever this is. That's what that is. Okay, I'm sure there was something for smudging. Was it under palette? Blurred. Instant, there's a blur? Blend. Just blend color. I think this is the thing I was thinking of. For like if you wanted to... Don't love the shape of that. I wish there was kind of like a one that's a bit more rounded. Let's try the blur. Oh yeah, blur's kinda... Maybe a little bit more... It's still not quite along the lines of what I was thinking of. Blurred, frosting, harsh, chaos, hard, wet, blender. Okay, that might be more what I was thinking about. The blender is probably more... Yeah, that's more of what I was kind of looking for. Kind of, I didn't want the colors getting blurred. I wanted them more to be blended together, like how they are now with this thing. So the wet blender is probably more what I was thinking of. Got a very specific shape to it, shape and texture, but you can probably change that up here. Yeah, you can. Look. What's all this? Blur, soft, edge, flat. Oh, okay, no. Have I gone from the wet blending thing? I think it did. I think it changed it. Pressure fall off, the drip size, the drip spike, the drip spread, the color drag. What's toolbox? Hello? What is toolbox? I don't know, but I added it there. Okay, so this is to bring files and references into your workspace. So I'm guessing load a reference image, new scrap, new view. Let's see what this does. Okay, so this looks like it's just for pinning a little image of something you might want to look at. I don't think I've got anything particularly that I want to put. Come on now, open. I think I've got some photos somewhere. Come on now, open. Not useful. I just want to open something for the sake of example. Alright, let's just use this. Okay. That's kind of cute. Whoa. Okay, so say I was wanting to paint this. Oops, wanting to paint this landscape. Don't know where this photo's from. Can't remember. But now, I can stick this somewhere out of the way, wherever it makes sense for me. And there's my... If I close this, does this close, I wonder? I don't know how that works. Let's just see what happens. It just goes back down here. One reference. Okay, cool. And then we've got this. Well, that's kind of cool. I think I've tested that out before, but again, too long ago to remember. Spread. Let's see. Let's see if this changes the shape. I mean, not really. The shape looks the same. The fall off. Don't know what this is doing. I think I like the fall off, the pressure, the color drag. Let's drop that to like 70. Kind of. Hmm. It's just the one thing is the shape of this is a bit. Why is it as soon as I change these it becomes. It must be because this is a preset. And as soon as you change anything in here, um, maybe it's still the hardware blender technically, but you've changed it from the preset and then you have to save it as a different preset. Or maybe this is just soft. I don't know what this. Whoa, now that's something completely different. That's okay. It's fun, but that is very much a different tool completely. Hard smudge. Buh, 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 buh. Oh, man, I really like how the. Oh, I really like how the pastels look. That's great. Look how much cool texture there is from the pastels. That's great. I really like that. It's great. You don't get that from the paint as much until you get out to the edge where it's a bit drier and scratchy, but it seems to have that texture going on with the pastels a lot more, which is really cool. I may have forgot to mention as well. It's not going to be a very long stream tonight. Completely forget whether I mentioned or not. Because it's already nearly 10 p.m., which, probably got people out there potentially going to hear that and just sort of laugh, like 10 p.m. That's not late. I got to bed at 2 in the morning, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I'm not used to that. I don't like that. I like to sleep. I usually, well, during the week, I kind of need to wake up early because of my partner's work. I'm gonna wake up when she wakes up anyway. No matter what, I'm a light sleeper, so that's like a 5:30 a.m. start all week long. So I'm kind of used to the early to sleep, early to wake up kind of routine, and I don't like to muck it up too bad. So when I say it's already 10 p.m., that's already pretty far past my usual sleep time. Um, but I really wanted to just, yeah, muck around. I was kind of hoping to make something, but even just spending this time reacquainting myself with this software because really I've had a good time with it even though I've struggled with it and I really want to get better at it. So just allowing this time to reacquaint myself with it. That's fine, isn't it? It's justifiable. It's good. I think it's progress, even if I don't um, have a really finished art piece at the end to show for it. It's still going to be fun. This is another blender, I think, which is under. Sorry, pardon the yawning. I'm very quite sleepy now. Okay, this is under watercolor, just water. So Oh, gross. Haha. That's probably because I've got the thing set to. What if I just color pick? No, it adds white in. It's kind of annoying. Alright, well don't worry about that. That's probably specific. Oh man, that's interesting. I don't know why it brings in the white. Thinners loading color bleed. Dried strokes. Again, like very interesting effects. I remember now that I'm using this, I find the watercolors to be a bit frustrating to use. Uh, just the way they go down is just not right for how watercolors are. And especially this just add water thingy. It's bringing in white. It feels like it's it is. It feels like it's bringing in white, or it's like washing the color away. If you try this, you'll see what I mean when you use it. So, I think the watercolors I found frustrating. I think I preferred the oil. I'm just trying to find something now that pardon me, that I could use. Yeah, pardon the yawns again. That I could use to paint. It's kind of a nice one. Kind of not what I'm looking for, but it's nice. Normal round. Let's try that. That I could do some like lines with. I mean, I could just jump to something like the marker. Is that what it's called? Ink pen. There's a felt tip pen, isn't there? Yeah, felt pen. What's that got? Blending marker's hard tip. Left the cap off, so must be like a dry look. That's kind of cool too. That's nice. I would probably use that a fair bit. Again, it probably doesn't act exactly. Oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty good for how an actual marker would kind of behave. That's cool. That one's cool. Soft marker. Oh, that disappears if you draw. Okay. Alright. Soft marker. What happens if I go? Yeah, it just looks messy. Yeah, some mediums, well, mediums again, in quotation marks, don't blend so well together as you would imagine. The same would probably happen in real life if you tried to use markers in paint. It would just look kind of ick. But if I try to, I mean, this goes well over the top. It's a lot of trial and error with this program as well, just figuring what does what. And again, pressure sensitivity. Is that a thing or is that not a thing? Alright, that just shrinks that. Selections, cloner, no idea. Color picker, fill, text. With the pen, with the one I'm using right now, well, there is this pressure. What happens if I turn that up? Yeah, there's no like size by pressure going on whatsoever. Softness, wetness, art pen. I mean, yeah. So I'm getting like flat ends, no points, no pointed ends. There's potentially a way to change that. Tool presets. No, that just takes the presets away. Okay. Default settings, pen, blending, hard to. That's just what's down here. Okay. Be gone. Um. All right. All right. So I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I could do a new layer, I suppose, if I wanted to. I'm not using this reference photo, by the way. I just put it there for the sake of seeing. Oh, I wonder how I get rid of it. The pen? The pen? Remove this reference. There we go. I'm not actually going to use it. So if I made a completely new layer, it's now, I believe, not going to interact with this layer at all. It's just going to go straight over the top. So if I wanted some hard lines to go down, I don't know why eyes is always kind of the thing that, you know, I go to. As soon as you add the pupil, it makes the eye look kind of insane. Go like anime. Anime's way out of that. Let's just add this at the top. There we go. Kind of looks sleepy. I shine. Accidental, but I'm leaving it. That'll do. Now, how do I smoosh them down? Layer effects? No. What's layer effects then? Good God. No, don't want any of that. I'm sure there's a merge down. There we go. So now they're all on the one. And well, that's basically the solution, I suppose, if I wanted to add. Okay, try the. Pardon the yawning. I'm so sorry. Um, that would be a solution if I wanted to get hard lines over the top of the paint. You'd probably just have to use a different layer and then maybe do some blending and whatnot. Oh, geez, that's very far, isn't it? Let's just do 150. Alright, let's try the pastels. Let's grab one of these colors out here. Let's make the pastel considerably smaller and just muck around with what is happening there. Don't know. Oi, oi, oi. I think I'm getting some of the white of this eyeshine going on. It's pulling from the other colors because it's, I guess, medium. It's interacting quite heavily with the existing colors. Again, I am not trying to create a masterful art piece here. I am just mucking around because I haven't used this software in such a long time. And I feel like whether you're working digitally or with traditional mediums, you've kind of got to understand how things work, how things behave, so that once you've got an idea of what you want to create, you know what tools you want to use, basically. You're like, okay, I want to do this, I'll use that. I want to do this, I'll use that. You know what I mean? So once you get a hang of the tools that you've got available, once you understand what you have, what you can do, you know what you're going to be reaching for to achieve your idea. Hopefully that makes sense. So I really, really, really like the pastels. Maybe my new favorite now. It's great. Very fun to use. I wish there's a little bit more sort of like a pressure sensitivity kind of. There probably is somewhere again. bit I find it a bit tricky to navigate things on this software, but there probably is in there somewhere. I'll just have to look it up. This looks like undo and redo. Layout panel. Transform. Alright, there's also all these. There's grids and guides and perspective. Show perspective. Okay. Color options. Okay. There is so much. So much! Guides, grids, show grid. There you go. So, if you were trying to paint something like for like, and you gridded it out so that you knew what to paint where, well, you can have the grid on here as well. I think it was under here, right? Grid. Take it off, because I'm not going to really be using it. I'm just curious about all the options. This is a horrible cartoony rendition of an eye. I suppose if I did want to paint something, you know, that looked anything. Pardon the yawns. Oh, jeez. Don't know how much more I've got left in me. Let's see. I'll quickly look up an image. This one's kind of cool. I know you can't see what I'm seeing, so I'm going to try to be quick. I've just literally googled, oh my god, there's some scary stuff. I've just googled eye, literally EYE, eye. And I'm looking through the images. Lots of them are kind of icky. I probably should have added some sort of nice adjective like pretty eye. There's one that says beautiful. I'll just go with this one. Quickly save the image. Throw it down on my desktop. I don't care, that'll do. And let's see if we can get it in here. It seems to have worked. There we go. So, if this were to be, come on now. If this were to be my reference image, throw it over on the side there. You can now see how crude and horrible this, whatever this is compared to this. I think I'll just make this layer invisible, make a new one. And let's attempt very, very, very loosely to do something like this. I'm really, really, really far zoomed in as well. Let's just... How big do I want this thing to be? Because this canvas is only A4. It's not that big. 30%? Maybe? Now this reference seems really huge. Alright, let's just go with that. Okay, so I'll try to jump around and use a few different... What colour am I on? Yeah, I'll try to jump around and use a few different tools within the program, within the software. That'll do. So, this is still going to be fairly crude. I'm yawning and I'm starting to get sniffly, which kind of is an odd thing that happens to me when I start to get tired. Don't know if that happens to anyone else. So please try to ignore if I'm trying not to do it. Try to just ignore that if I'm a little bit sniffly. I don't have a cold. I don't think I'm getting a cold. It really does just happen to me when I start getting tired. I need it to be a bit more accurate with my lines here. It's a bit rubbish, isn't it? This goes a bit further in as well. Alright, I can't jump around with hotkeys like I do in Fire Alpaca because they are different. Alright, so about, oh shivers, I don't know what that was. I think you can do straight lines in this by like pressing at one end and holding shift. Nope, that's not a thing. That's not a thing, forget I said that. It's not a thing. The width on this seems like the right angle, but this doesn't. I don't know, I'm trying to get the, is it the iris, the colored part of the eye? I'm trying to get the iris sort of like the right size, but I feel like it's taking up too much, which makes me think that this is too high. That'll do. We really need to get into the painting section, really, don't we? That's where it gets a bit more interesting. Alright, people is really quite small. Like this. And then we've got the main kind of fold of skin that happens here. And then the lashes are really just kind of all over the place. I don't think I'll really worry about those yet because honestly they're probably a bit redundant at this stage kind of thing. I've put those in the wrong spot. Back, 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 back. So they start close to the edge and then they start to, because there's a outer edge of the eyelid like that. Yeah, that's a bit more like it. Some areas that have some longer ones and whatever. That'll do. This area is kind of harder than this bit, I think. I've got this kind of pattern. It doesn't really. I don't think I need to draw that in. And then this. Part of doing this sketch part for me is also. Oh, what did that do? Oh, whoop, 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 whoop! It's a flip. How else do I flip? Oh, shivers! That's just jumping around all over the place. Let's see if it says under here. Paint symmetry. Paint symmetry. Actions. I might just have to check out the shortcuts afterwards. Part of doing the sketching. Pardon me, sorry. Aside from like blocking in the thing roughly, is also like looking at the reference and understanding where things are and what it looks like and where the colors are and etc. 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 So it's not just for the sake of blocking this in, it's also familiarizing with the content of, what I'm trying to do. Probably goes without saying, huh? Whatever. It came to mind, so I said it. Alright, let's start blocking in colors. I will use... Yeah, this is kind of the hard part, hey. What will I use? Oils? I guess I'll use a mix of different things. Let's try the normal for now. Can I color pick from... Oh, you can. You can color pick straight from the reference. That's so good. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, This would be a pretty long. I love this shiny bit over here. It's so good. So nice. Okay. Yeah, straight away. I'm going to zoom in now. You can see the paint doing its thing, really, really interacting and smushing, blending together in that really cool way that I'm not sure if any other software does. I can't think of where I've seen this sort of emulation of traditional mediums like paint quite so believably as it is in ArtRage. So if you know a software that does this as well or better, definitely let me know about it on Twitter or Instagram, or just leave it in the comments of this video, however you prefer, if you feel so inclined. Because I would be very curious to know. I'm always really curious about checking out new software. It's kind of I don't know, an interest, a fascination. I don't know. I just really like mucking around with art software, and this looks terrible right now, but let's see if we can get it somewhere, get it to be something a little bit nice. We'll see. We'll persist for a little while until I start just crashing out really bad. This is beautiful green in here. I'm not gonna worry about these streaks just yet, I don't think. Yeah, look how much they smush. It's really cool, really interesting and fun, and it feels really like tactile even though it's digital painting. It's really interesting. And I know I'm not I know I'm not making something that looks too amazing right now. Um, but I feel like if I kept persisting with it and kept, I just wish there was I wish things would go to a bit of an edge, if that makes sense, like a point instead of being so flat, so hard edged. Alright, let's do this white right here. It's a patch that looks like that, like that. There's a lot of colors in here, like I'd have to spend quite a bit of time. This very beautiful blue which comes onto the pupil here. It really would take quite a bit of time to, well, for me anyways, to render something out that looked good, convincing. I'm not necessarily the quickest, especially with this somewhat unfamiliar software. Well, yeah, I'll say somewhat unfamiliar because I have used it before. So there's this line. What color is this? Now this line will be hard to do. I feel like it won't. Yeah, see, it's just gonna smudge. So let's try. What does hard stiff round brush look like? No, yeah, it's all gonna smudge because the paint is quite wet. So let's try a pastel. Why not? What's that? What's that gonna do? Yeah, that's gonna smudge as well. What color am I on? I'm on a really light color, so that's not gonna damn well help, is it? Alright, let's try that. Yeah, yeah, I feel like that kind of works. Still doesn't like seem as dark. Maybe if I make this bigger still. What is this? It's like a very dark green, and it's falling around about here. Still doesn't feel dark enough to me, as what I'm seeing in the photo. And then there's one here, kind of. Almost goes to black by the time it's here. And then a very dark blue. So I'll send one here, and a slightly whiter one here. This still seems like too saturated, maybe. Might not be too bad, like, I mean, it will still look, I think it'll look interesting, even if the colours are kind of off. Okay. So I've got something that's like a round shape, and then some more white blotches here. Man, this blue is so cool. I really like that's what kind of drew me to this photo, was this like, it must be from a window, blue sky outside a window. The reflections casting onto the eye here. But that's what caught my eye, was the nice colours in this. I mean, it's nice here as well. So kind of roughly almost getting something. If I was wanting to train myself on matching the colours without picking from the photo, I'm just picking from the photo because I'm trying to go a bit more quickly. I might challenge myself and try to find these colours on the color wheel without color picking from the photo. But for the sake of the exercise, for what I'm trying to achieve, which is just to, you know, knock something out kind of quick. Knock something half decent. Half decent at least. Is that really bright? Is it that? It looks more like this to me. And it's kind of here. It's kind of happening in... There's so much going on. You almost kind of got to squint a little bit and try to reduce how much detail you're seeing, because there's so much. Try to see the big parts first, and then work your way to finer and finer detail, because you just go a bit nuts if you try to work everything all at once. And I really, this something about the white of the eye here is really interesting to me. I think it's, how can I describe it? I suppose it's the texture of how it looks is interesting. The color is interesting because it's, you think, oh, white, it's white, but it's not. It's this kind of like grey green, kind of. Up here it's maybe more, oh, it's still pretty green. Yeah. I just really love these. I'm gonna have to fix these eyelashes too. They look like absolute shite. I should have used the pastel on a small size. I'm gonna have to try to clean this up because it's just gonna bug. It's gonna bug me, so I'm gonna try to clean that now. So let's just get rid of them because what this stuff, it's just awful. Alright, what's happening here? We've got some nice blue. I'm just trying to find it with the color picker. So, even though this, painting is not looking terribly impressive yet, it would take a little bit of a little bit of time for me to render it all up, make it look really nice. Well, as nice as I could make it look anyways. Um, hopefully you can see just by what I've done so far, just what this program is capable of, and here I've only ever used it a few times, um, and I think this is still looking pretty interesting, uh, because just look at the textures in here, like the stroke. You can see the strokes of the brushes and stuff that I've used. I mean, it's so nice, so interesting. It's just, and if I zoom out, you know, starting to look a bit like something from a distance. Shrink this back down. Come on now. Jeez Louise, I'll do it from up here, eh? Shrink this down, put it over here. Obviously, again, still a lot of work to do to get it to be closer. But I think there's something to it in terms of how nice it looks. Just the effects you can create and everything like that. Pretty cool. What did I have it on? 50? Yeah, that seems about right. Yeah, I don't know why I haven't given this program a bit more of a chance in the past. It's kind of boggling my mind a little bit because, I mean, look at what it can do. I know what it can do. So, I don't know why I haven't given it more of a chance in the past. It's odd. That's odd. I think I did have some frustrations with it. So, but this time around, for whatever reason, whether the software itself has improved and updated since I last used it, entirely possible. Something a bit lighter. Yeah, I'm finding it really nice this time around. Still, I have remembered some of those same, I'll call them like mild frustrations, uh, that I could remember from last time. But all in all, really a very enjoyable experience. I'm having a really good time using this software right now. Super duper fun. And I think a few more sessions painting, especially from like using a reference like this, so you're not trying to make it up. You're you've got something to work from. You've got something to work towards. You're not just sort of a bit. I guess you can be a bit lost coming in. I would suggest trying what I did when you first open it up. Just have a go of everything. Just try a few different presets from the different tools. See um, what you like, what you find interesting. Gosh, that really seems a lot darker than what it looks in the photo, but let's just trust it, shall we? Yeah, have a go of some things. Hopefully, this video might be of use to some people who've never seen the software before, or who've tried it and got a bit lost or felt a bit intimidated or whatever else. Yeah, hopefully this video is of use to you. I hope so. If it is, uh, definitely give the video a like for me. That would be awesome. And leave me a comment on the video. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've got any questions, and if I can answer them, I will. I'll do my absolute very best to help out anyone that's got any queries. Looks a bit more like it, doesn't it? So feeling like the oil paints, as I'm gonna have to assume, because I haven't really used oils myself so much in real life, but I'm gonna assume that the colors are pretty strong when you're using them in real life. Like you can lay these down pretty heavy. Like the pastel is a different experience. Like I find the pastel a little bit easier to control. Not that the oils are bad by any means, they're just difficult. You can probably see that I'm putting the colour down, but then it's getting lost back inside the other ones. The colours that are already down there. Just kind of getting blended in, lost a little bit. I feel like the colour, even though I've colour picked, like this looks very different. Let's go back to the pastel and see what happens. The pastel goes down a bit more clean. Much easier to control. Still got a really nice texture to it and everything. Okay, it's a bit better, I think. And you have to also remember that remember to zoom out semi-regularly, because what you can see super close up, it's going to look different when you zoom out. So keep that in mind. Alright, let's get in here and do this bit. I think the pastel is maybe becoming one of my favorite. I mean, it leaves this texture, so maybe even laying down the initial color with the oil. I'm using normal. Maybe there's an unclean brush. Let's see what that does. Sounds a bit like it's gonna make a mess. Let's make this really small. Alright. Oh lordy. It's getting even more lost in the paint now, isn't it? I have to assume that... Oh gosh. Oh geez, why is that coming so red? Must be the colour that I picked mixing in with the colour that I've already put down. They're really mixing together there. Let's go back to the pastel because it's, again, much easier to control. It's kind of... where is that? Trying to decide what's where, what's what and what's where. Alright. I'm kind of improvising a bit here. God, it's so enjoyable. I don't know, the feeling of these emulated natural traditional mediums. It's just, there's something so enjoyable about doing this. Very, very, very tactile experience. What color is this? Kind of like a pale brown kind of. And again, even though it's digital, it feels quite different. I don't know, maybe you'll have a similar experience if you decide to have a try of the software yourself. And I'm using ArtRage 6, I believe. I'm quite certain. Um, I'll jump to the website, and again, you won't be able to see this, so sorry, just bear with me for one moment. And I'll see. Yeah, 6 seems to be. There's a light version. Is there a demo that you can get for free? Yeah, there is. There's an ArtRage 6 demo. So you can 100% just try it. Try it for free for, I don't know how long it runs for. I'm gonna, let's see if it says here. Ba 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 ba. Okay. The demo, you can't save files. It's all on the website if you're interested. You can't save the files you work on with the demo. So it's really just to just have a bit of a play with it, try it out, see what you think before you commit to buying it. Um, the shop, yeah. As far as I can see right now, you can get this software for $40. Whether that's Australian dollars or US dollars, I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure. Art tools for beginners. There's also, oh no, that's light. That's the light version. It's a bit cheaper. Only by $10. Like, we'll just get the full version. Why not? There's also a mobile version, which could be fun, could be cool, especially if you can use it on an iPad. I feel like that would, or a tablet or an iPad, that would be great. Yeah, okay, I'll get rid of that again. I was just curious. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good to me. Grab the demo, give it a quick muck around like what I did, and if you're feeling it, it's only $40 at the moment to get the software, and it is powerful software. I have to say, look at it. Look at it go right now. Look at these textures. It looks. I feel like I haven't even done anything. Like it's not. I don't know how to put it into words. I feel like the software's done all the work for me in a way, because it looks so nice. There's something about these colors that's really getting me out of sorts. I can't. They definitely do blend together a bit. Let's just make this bigger. Grab this color. Try to blend them out a little bit. Like maybe the blur. Where was the blur? Under here, I think. Under the palette knife. Yeah, instant blur. Let's make it a bit. Hello, go smaller, please. Oh, why is this so weird? Oh, there we go. Lefty righty. That's what I need to do. Oh, the other thing that I wish ArtRage did that Fire Alpaca does is Fire Alpaca will show you the adjustment you're making to the size on the screen, like your cursor or your brush, whatever. It shows you getting bigger and getting smaller, so you can see the size as you're changing it and know what the right size is. Where with this one, you go, okay, 40. What does that look like? And you got to check. You're like, okay, too big. And then you're like, okay, what about 29? You're like, okay, what does that look? Here it is. That's how big it is. Okay, maybe that'll do. Whatever. You know what I mean? So, um, Fire Art is a bit got. I think that's a good thing for software. It's subtle. You know, it's a subtle little small detail. But oh jeez, I definitely clicked the wrong thing just then. But it does make a difference. All those little bits and pieces, little considerations can really make a big difference, I think. Now, I'm really wanting to get. I'm gonna try to do it by eye. It's kind of too strong. It's too far from what this is now. Try this. Yeah, even that's too much really. Less. Tiny, tiny. Yeah, the subtleties in this section is really difficult. If I'm being very honest, this is very tricky, this area. I'm finding very hard to get to a point where I feel satisfied. It's okay, I'll leave it for now. Okay, this light bit's kind of come out here a little bit. And that's kind of more finer up here. That'll do. That's okay. Let's have a look at the airbrush could possibly, no, not the gloop, the airbrush. Big and subtle. Slow flow, slow flow. Tinter, tinter. Okay, let's just go big and subtle. And just see if we can get a little bit of the, because it is extraordinarily pressure, opacity. Let's drop this down to like something really low. Yeah, that's kind of good. So this, yeah, this could kind of create a little bit of what I'm seeing in here. It's so subtle, but it's bothering me because I can see it. That's as big as the airbrush gets. Okay, let's try. Yeah, I'm gonna go lighter, and I'll use the airbrush here as well. Still, what I'm seeing here looks. Maybe it's because of this color. You know, the contrast here looks kind of strong. This line looks much harder than what I've got going on. Maybe it's less the color on in the white side and more the color on the side of the iris that could be giving me a hard time. So let's try picking from here, and let's see if putting that down gives me a bit more of a. Yeah, see, it's really not. It's not changing the color all that much. Um, I pulled from as close as the edge as I could get, but it's really still. It's not changing much. So that's interesting. That's okay. Let's look. Is that too dark, maybe? Jeez, that's very dark too. Or is it? I feel like I've made the pupil a little bit too big, hey? That's okay. There's some very dark bits coming up from the pupil. Oopsie. Okay. That's very troublesome. Alright, let's see how we go. I'll just do it fairly kind of rough. I feel like, again, pressure, size by pressure would be super duper handy right now. Or something that goes down a bit harder even. Yeah, I had the same problem with the pen, not problem, but limitation with the ink pen and with the felt pen, where it doesn't matter how I draw, it doesn't come to a point. It's always flat at the end, so I can't get a variation with a stroke where I've got something like this going on, thicker in the middle, thinner at the ends. By doing different pressure on my brush, it's just a flat, straight, even thickness the whole time, no matter what. I hope my chat is not frozen up in case anyone is by any chance trying to talk to me, but I don't. It looks okay. I had an issue with that one time when I was streaming, but it looks okay this time. Now I'll probably be forever paranoid that it's gonna happen to me again. Let's go back to the airbrush for a second. And I'm just gonna do this color, what I can see by eye. It looks like that. It looks pretty much like that. This here. This here. So I'm gonna use the airbrush. And yeah, even lower and even smaller. Maybe I didn't need to turn the opacity down that much. That is looking more like it to me. The opacity back up to like, I don't know, 8. Size. Again, I wish I could see the size of the damn thing. The brush as I adjust it. And I'll leave that as a feedback somewhere. That is starting to look a little bit better. I'm going to turn this so low and then, because there's a part, there's this tiny, it's so subtle though, I don't know if it'll make much of a difference. Getting caught up on things that are maybe a little bit too small. That's okay, let's do a zoom out. I mean, there's something still bothering me about this, but maybe once the outside color's in, it won't look so weird. Obviously, I'm not getting this photorealistic. That was not really my intention. There's a lot more brown up here. I should try to get that in. And down here, there's some more brown and amber. But that reflection is so cool and interesting. The color here is still needs a bit more details as well. A bit more variation. Man, it's so cool though. It's just fun. Oh man, that rotate would be the death of me. I want to go up. There we go. Let's go back up to 50%. Alright, and I could also do some adjustments zoomed further out, so like some larger changes. That was not what I wanted, airbrush. I don't know why I get this gloop pen thing, whatever it's called, confused with the airbrush. I'll select the wrong one a lot of the time. Let's put this up to like 10. Make the size a bit bigger. Bit bigger. Yeah. And let's just subtly brush in here. And I feel like there's more of that blue down here. Subtly brush in that color. And there's these white, these like much higher white squiggly bits, which I'm gonna have to use like a very small, a very small pastel kind of comes up to this blue area. And this is really interesting because it even smaller still. It really shows the texture of the white part of the eye, which I feel like I should know the name of. Man, pressure sensitivity would be so helpful. Maybe there is a thing with tilt or something. Noise scale, noise amount, softness, pressure, wax, chalk. My god, so many things. Alright, I'm just gonna work with what I've got. with what I've got. The pressure sensitivity would really help, but that's okay. Up here is also darker, I'm just noticing. Yeah, darker, darker. Let's try to put it down with the normal. Let's use the square. Oh, that's very strong. Well, so is that. Okay. So we'll use the round. And let's just splodge down the paint like that. And I'll just keep grabbing some colors here. And here. Wow, why is that so dark? Um, mhm. I feel like that's kind of too dark, huh? Now let's think about a way to. Let's have a try of um, this blend color. See what that does. It's kind of, again, I've got like pigments, these very red pigments coming out of the color that I've put down. That's bringing it up very much. What was I using before? The hardware blender, I think. Let's see what that does. That's kind of useful. Kind of. Yeah, that kind of made it look a bit diseased. Lol. Don't know how I feel about that. It's kind of useful, but it also creates this cloudy jaggedy kind of a texture when you use it, which is what when I was trialing it out earlier, when I was testing it, I was kind of anticipating that could be problematic, that it doesn't blend things quite as smooth as might be helpful. Yeah, that jaggedy edge it creates. I'll zoom in even. No, I just press the plus button to zoom in, for the love of Pete. So if I zoom in really far, you can see it creates. See, it would be good for clouds, it would be good for certain things, but I don't want this like weird jaggedy shape. I just want to blend the damn thing. Was there something? Oh yeah, just water, but it's not it's not helpful for oils. Maybe we've got something. Tiny Dobs dry clumps dry's brush for texture. Broken color, stiff and tacky, firm and tacky, block in, soft, thin. I feel like these are all for putting colors down more so than. I mean, yeah, that's very different to work with. Texture. Let's try what that does. Actually, that's not bad. I don't mind that as a blending brush. Oh, or have I spoken too soon? Not sure. It's kind of yes, kind of no. It's a little bit like the palette knife, to be honest, but like the hard out smudge. Let's try this size and see. Yeah, it's similar to this, except that like maybe this is a little bit smoother, to be honest. Um, yeah, very difficult to just create that clean edge that I'm looking for, and this is also like really scratching up that paint. Alright, back to pastels because I'm finding them much easier to control. Let's grab this color. Like because the pastels kind of blend as you use them anyway. Kind of a bit easier to use. Let's get this color. Let's go really small. Start getting some of that up in here. It kind of goes all the way. What was I noticing about the eye? That it needed more of this amber color around here. Gotta go something a bit bigger. Yeah. It's not that close up to the pupil. There's a fair bit of amber, and then there's this brown. It's nice brown here. This side's more green. It's like, you know, when you really look at eyes this close up, you see how amazing they are. Even your own eyes, if you take a close look at them, you just see how insane all the different colors. That's that dark bit I put in there, I think. How gorgeous all the colors are in there when you take a closer look. So nice, so interesting. Yeah, these flecks are kind of hard to do, to be honest. They might be good to put down with the oil brush. Let's go to the normal round. I kind of like. What does this one look like? Everlasting. Dun 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 dun. Don't need that, do we? Dry varnished. Ah. Oh, that one runs out pretty quick. Alright, let's go with the normal. Alright, dry clumps. So distractible. I'm sorry. I'm curious. Kind of curious about everything. That one's interesting as well. They're all interesting. They're fun to muck around with. Highly recommend. Alright, let's make this really small. Small still. And what's up here? Thinner's loading. But if I change that, if I change the loading, it becomes something else. Is it still the same brush or is it not? I don't know. I don't think so. Frig it, let's just stay with that then. 17. Is that as small as it goes? Oh no, it goes down to 1. Alright, let's try to get some of these bits down, shall we? I feel like they're not dark enough. Come on now. Come on now. On you go. There's also... I feel like this would be best handled with the pastels. There's this big dark... Oh, where does it come from? Sort of from here. And then it comes across to here and kind of fades out. Like that. Kind of. This colour's interesting. Sort of this. It's here. Yeah, I've still got to try to fix up these lashes too, hey? There's a colour in there that there it is. So nice. So many nice colours. Is that where it is? It's kind of here. Yeah, and there's a lot more of this amber here. And then these very dark bits coming. Man, they almost look as black as the pupil. Maybe I'll take some black out of the pupil and put. Is that too much? I don't know. Also, I'm working very, very zoomed in right now. I probably don't need to be this zoomed in. Let's go back to grabbing. Where is it? Come on, there it is. Yeah, I probably don't really need to be working this zoomed in. I zoomed in and never zoomed back out. Where else? There's sort of like a chunkier patch over here going on, like this. And there's a long one up here coming right out of this shadow. And this one's kind of strong, but it's also chunkier at the ends. And there's a bunch. There's a little bit here. And there's sort of like a bunch that come out like this. Doesn't have to be like crazy super duper exact. And there's one here. There's this chunk up here. There's a bunch of little bitty bits around here. And there's like this one that's a lot more faded up here. Don't know how to describe it. That's kind of close though. And they're like different colors as they cross the different rings. I don't know how to describe that. It's like as the stripes run out, there's like rings of color this way, and then there's streaks this way. It's very interesting. And it would be funny to I'm just doing this roughly, to be honest. I'm not gonna try to capture it quite. What color is this? I feel like it's very close to black. Pretty damn close. What was I gonna say? It would be funny to compare this eye to the other one that I was throwing down quickly, stupidly. There's not going to be any comparison because it's not fair to compare like that, because the other one I was just doing stupid, silly, Whereas this one I've put some effort in. Alright, let's do some, like, maybe not one, but maybe like 5. Let's see if I can get these lashes in. That'll do, I think. Now I've just got to try to get the right. They definitely do kind of cross over each other, some of them. Yeah, the pastel is probably now my go-to for the more detailed stuff. Putting it down with the oil paint, which is probably true to life. It's kind of, I feel like it would be kind of difficult to get finer detail with oil paints because of the nature of the medium, the way they are. Yeah, that is kind of accurate actually. It's darker on this edge. The shadows come in. Yeah, so the oils probably would be my go-to for blocking in colors and getting a lot of nice variation around. Damn it, to go darker. I want the lighter blue. Give me, that'll do. Blocking in initial colors, getting some cool texture going on and everything. And depending on how loose you want to work, Man, that is a nice colour. Let's make that a bit bigger. Depending on how loose you want to work, you might stick entirely with oils. But I feel as though they're going to be, they're much harder to control. They're kind of like messy. So if you're wanting some more details and better control, but still some blending, some natural blending going on, the pastels is so good. I'm using the medium, you can see there. I'm really enjoying how they work. There is still like a slight. Oh, what color did I get? I must have got something very bright. Okay, that's a bit better. Ouch. Ow! Random foot cramp. It hurts. Ow! There's another one of these like more brown coloured rings happening here. It's more amber though. Like I wish the colour would be a bit more. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, that's too bright though. Yeah, something like that seems good. That does go up to there, gets a bit lost. Then there's sort of like this going on here. Yep, good. Then there's this beautiful grey happening here and here, and a bit around here as well. Yeah, kind of comes into this from here, kind of. So much going on. So pretty and so interesting. It's like so complicated at the same time. That'll do. But it's really enjoyable to observe it. Really fun. Very enjoyable exercise. Let's see about these. So these are much paler, but they're still like coming in. How does it join to there? It just kind of blends. I don't know how to exactly create the right look for that. These bits are a bit trickier. There's like thicker but more subtle streaks going on. It's really hard to capture it. I feel like it's darker. Yeah, that's better. And there's a lot. Where is it? It's there. There's also that white dot. Okay, I'm gonna have to get that. That's a pretty significant detail. Also, think I've lost. I think I've lost track of time. Like, I don't even want to look at the clock right now. I just want to not think about it too much and just keep doing this. Just irresponsible. Although I can sleep in the morning. My partner's visiting her family. Won't be back till probably late tomorrow. Probably. Well, it was a whole kerfuffle. She's meant to take our car, but the battery went flat. I think the battery needs replacing, to be honest. And so she had to take a taxi to get to where she was meant to be going. Probably cost a small fortune. And it just became, the whole afternoon really became a bit stressful, to be honest. But it's alright. I pulled myself out of that funk. I just wrote. I've been like writing down when I'm not feeling so good, like when I'm in a bad headspace. I just blurt it all out onto paper. Definitely not probably really for anyone to see, to ever look at. It's just gets it out of my head, gets it onto the paper. And honestly, I should probably just burn the paper and like, you know, really bugger off those um those cruddy feelings. That'll show those feelings. Mucking up my headspace. So after I did that, after I just blurted it out onto paper, I felt a lot better. Had some dinner. Um, watched a bit of X-Files because I love it. Ridiculous shows. It's just so not something to be taken seriously, but it's fun. Also love that it's all, nowadays it's all pretty retro stuff. It's like cheesy, but it's good. It's like good because it's cheesy. I love its I love its cheesiness. So fantastic show. It's funny, unintentionally funny. You know, I can't take it too I can't take it too seriously. It's a little bit funny to me. What's this? This is like this one. It's down here. There's like more here. It's not that dark. Kind of almost getting most of the colors I need. Almost, so I can just kind of just about color pick from within the what I've got here now, because I've color picked so many things from over here. How does this work? It's the ring of the brown, and then there's some more yellow. I think that's how it is. This is definitely this yellow band is kind of broken up a bit by, and this might be kind of like too much. It might just be making it look like a mess, but the yellow band is not one solid. It's like there's other things running through it. So that might be achieved enough by the existing texture of the oils that I put down initially. I don't know. I think that kind of did something though. I feel like that did achieve something. Putting those lines in that break it up a bit. I think it was worth it. There's this really beautiful. I feel like my eye is seeing it as that. It's this beautiful green, like maybe this. It might be a bit stronger than what's in the photo, but I feel like my eye is picking up that color a bit. And here too, actually the airbrush would be really good for that. There's this like blue green that I feel like I can see, but when I try to color pick it, it kind of doesn't. Let's see if I can imply it. Maybe a blending mode. Oh, you can do it with this. You can literally apply it with the blending mode, like as the blending mode. I don't know. You can apply the blending mode to the brush rather than applying it to the layer. So you can literally paint. I would probably use overlay. Being familiar with what blending modes do, having used painting software so much. I feel like the opacity is too strong. Let's go to 9, that'll do. Yeah, I feel like that's getting, hinting at what I can see. There's too much up there. What else? Um, um, maybe a bit of orange. This like amber kind of glow down here. Just a little bit in here. Yeah, it doesn't need it there, that's too much. There's definitely more eyelash shadows that I have to focus on up here. Why is my color picker acting strange all of a sudden? Oh no, tell me my shortcuts haven't just randomly stopped working. I mean my hotkeys. Yeah, sure, why not? Why not? Sometimes you just gotta wonder, you know? They just... Why? Let's quickly save this. I haven't saved anything that I've done so far. Let's just quickly do this. I test paint. Let's call it that. It is after 11:07 p.m. That is way too late for me. Let's zoom out and see what it looks like. Looks like something. I mean, oh, that rotates. Can just be the death of me. Looks like something. I mean, not exact by any means. I can probably, now that I'm zoomed out, I'll grab my little whatchamabobby. Oh yeah, my podcast is still working. Ah, I have to like save it for a second. I'll try. I don't know if this is gonna bugger up the stream, but I'm gonna. I don't want to close the damn software. Maybe I can just Maybe I can just kind of like reboot my Wacom. I forgot what I did last time. I think I unplugged it and replugged it back in when the like little shortcut keys buggered up on me last time. Happens a bit too often. Here we go. I'll try restarting the Wacom. I'll also check. Oh, no, there we go. Oh no, that's just because I was restarting it. Alright, let's see if that's done anything. No, it has not. My shortkey for undo was still not working. Alright, I'll try unplugging it and plugging it back in again. That did it last time. Unplug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Replug it. Plug it back in. Now, this sorted it out last time. See if it's done it again. See if it's worked. Yes. Yes, okay, I think. Yeah, no, that looks right. Alright, so now that I'm zoomed out and I've got like this wider view, let's try to make some adjustments that will make a bit of a difference here. Now I need this very light skin tone that's here. Let me have it. That must be it. Just doesn't seem light enough. No? Alright, I'm gonna do it by eye. Looks like that. Obviously I will, if I was going to paint in all the skin tones, which I don't think I will, I'll just, I would paint back in all the eyelashes afterwards. Got this part of the skin. The under part is quite a bit darker. It's kind of like something like that. I'm not going to paint the skin, certainly not tonight. Definitely no. Let's see, what else needs... Yeah, I didn't quite get the details in here very well. It's like this bit, there's like this bit. It's probably too wide, huh? Too large of a brush size, I mean. And that's not light enough. It's alright, I'll just do it myself, won't I? still skinnier. Maybe a thinner brush. Is that something? What else would make a good difference? A couple of these kind of, now these were very small. A couple of these kind of just the tiniest bit edge up into this shadow. There's one here. There's also this white, this tiny little, I'm gonna grab the color from here. Little white dash right here. Boop. Oh, there's still so much more detail in there. I feel like if I put a nice texture over the top, like a paper texture or something, it would really add a lot. Would really add a lot to the interest in the eye here. The shape on the outside edge also is a little bit off. Just I think because I was mucking around so bad trying to get those colors right. It actually dips in here kind of sharp, hey? Like, the eye is not, it's definitely not perfectly round. I love this color here. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that is. It's very, very grey green, very desaturated green. I don't know what it is, but there's something so satisfying about that. There's also this vein, fairly subtle running in like that, kind of. And then there's a dark, this runs under it's like the shadow for the edge of the eyelid. Cast down onto the, probably goes to a black or just very, very close to a black. And then there's a very small, probably practically white. It's my art teacher in high school, who's the probably still stands as one of the absolute best teachers I've ever had ever for any subject of anything ever. Gave me, or told us, gave us some advice, some art advice, that you should try to avoid using um, pure blacks and pure whites, whether you're working digitally or, and that's not a rule. It's not like you can't or just like never ever ever do it no matter what. It's just like, it was just a bit of advice. Like most things, if you're trying to paint from life anyway, you're trying to do something like semi-realistic, most things are going to be um, yeah, there's practically no pure black and no pure white as you would find it on like the color picker in real life. It kind of just almost doesn't exist unless you're in, you know, pitch, pitch, pure darkness with absolutely no light. So let's just say like underground or something, in a cave so deep down that there's zero light sources like that. Maybe that's pure black. Um, or you know, looking at the sun and destroying your eyes, like maybe that's pure white. But other than that, you're not, it almost kind of doesn't exist, if that makes sense. So, yeah, my teacher's advice was don't go for your pure whites or your pure blacks, unless, of course, you're doing something that's stylized, or, it's a black and white illustration, or it's a comic or a cartoon or whatever. You hopefully kind of get what I'm trying to say. If you're trying to do something that's like closer to realism, um, yeah, try to avoid the pure blacks and the pure whites. they're probably not gonna do you any favors in terms of creating something that looks a bit more real. It's a bit more subtle, isn't it? Something like that. Still more subtle than that. That's okay. Um, this could also be a really this entire paint exercise could be a fantastic example when I turn the other one back on for a sec. Yeah, this really is filled with. Let me see how it's. Filled up in here a bit more. This area is a bit tricky. This is one of the trickier parts, I would say. A lot going on. So cool though. So cool. So interesting. Um, it's also this to me. I know this band is a bit wider than what I've done, but it also looks a bit green to me somehow. So I might grab the airbrush again. It's still set to overlay, and I might grab what I. It's that blue green again. That's what it looks like to me. Something like this. Super subtly, like that. Yeah. So subtle, but that's what it looks like to me. There's also this, these smudgy bits in here. Pale. Too light, too dark, I mean. These like pale smudgy bits in here. They're a bit blurred. I like that colour. It's interesting how this kind of all just is one thing. So the eye just comes into it like that, and then the rest is all just it just grows out or whatever. It's interesting. Um, I think I'm gonna have to wrap up because I've been awake kind of too long, and as much fun as I'm having with this is the best time I've had using Fire Alpaca. I think I have to say, Fire Alpaca. Sorry, ArtRage, the software that I'm using right now. This is the best I think I've done using ArtRage, and it's definitely been the most fun. Um, I have absolutely loved it. Um, the best outcome I've had, the most yeah, sort of like intuitive experience I've had so far with it with ArtRage. Really good, really fun. And even though I've got to wrap up because it's late for me, um, being now almost 11:30 at night. Late for me. Um, as much as I would love to keep going because it's so much fun. I'll hopefully do a bit more streaming tomorrow. I'll see where I land. Like my partner's not home till later in the day, So I'd love to do some more. I really want to. Um, I'll just see how I go for time. There's a few other things I need to do, want to do tomorrow. I can see a tiny dot, and I'm gonna try to put it there. Okay, yeah, now. like a 1% on air. It's the most subtle tiny thing that you could miss. There it is. There we go. It's ridiculous. You probably can't even see it on the stream, but I'm putting it there. Yeah, I'll see how I go for time tomorrow. Probably once my partner gets home, I'll be too distractible to, no, yuck, to do any streaming. Like, it works better when I'm by myself. Because I can just focus on what I'm doing. I get stuff done. You know, when your partner's around, you just kind of you want to give them attention, and they want to give you attention, and you can't really sit down and art. I definitely wouldn't be able to live stream because unless she went elsewhere. Now I'm just rambling. I'm just rambling because I kind of want to keep mucking around with this. But I've got to stop. I've got to stop. Somebody make me stop. I gotta make myself stop. I gotta be responsible for myself. Kinda don't like that I'm leaving it like that. There we go. That's it. I'm stopping. Pens down. Pens down. I'm getting rid of this reference. I forget how to... Oof, what the hell was that? Remove this reference. There we go. Reference is gone. That's what I've ended up with. Oh, Shizen. I don't know what I just did. Oh, it's okay. I just flipped it. Where is the... like the regular old moved... Oh, I think I remember in this software you have to select the thing to move. No? Am I wrong? I thought that was... you had to select it to move it in this software. I thought maybe you have to transform. Transform? Oh lord, I don't like that. I'll press enter and I'll press deselect. Ugh, I centered it a bit anyway, I think. Okay, cool. So this is what I've ended up with. I'll zoom in a bit. So that's what it looks like closer up. Which is kind of the case when you tend to look closely at paintings. They look a little bit messy, just like smudges of color all over the place. It's kind of cool actually. I particularly like these areas. These like rough blotches of color. They work quite nicely. There's a lot that I could fix and change and improve and whatever, but it was just a bit of an exercise. And if I zoom back out, it looks pretty alright, I think. It's interesting. It looks interesting. It's not too bad. Yeah, fairly happy with the outcome, so I'll save it. And I've got to wrap up. I've got to get to bed. Oh, I'm a bit stiff. I meant to do like an hour tops. But I kind of ended up doing 2.5 hours. So there you go. Alright, so as usual, thanks to anyone that was watching along with me, or who maybe checks out this video after the live stream's over and it's up on YouTube. Thanks very much. If you want to leave a like, leave a comment, go ahead. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter under the same, all under the same username, which is, I'll write it up here, why not? Not with that. What's a good thing to write with? The pen? You know what? None of these are doing what I want right now. I just heard something outside and I don't like it. Sleepy Voodle is my online handle pretty much everywhere. Uh, Technically my YouTube channel is Sleepy Video Studio, but you can find it if you search Sleepy Voodle. Um, yeah, but Sleepy Voodle everywhere. DeviantArt, if you're on there, I'm on there. Instagram's where I post to the most, probably, for art stuff. Um, yeah, Twitter for updates and news. I am working to get into the habit of posting when I'm going to be streaming on Twitter, so that's a really good way. Otherwise, of course, subscribing to the YouTube channel and turning on notifications that should notify you of any time I start a live stream. And I'm trying to do these several times a week. Basically, whenever I'm doing digital art, I'm just gonna live stream it because lots of reasons. It's fun, it's engaging, it keeps me focused. With any luck, it helps people out. It just motivates me. I like it. So lots of reasons. Um, but yeah, I hope everyone's enjoyed this. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'll get rid of that layer now. All right, and for the sake of uh, I don't know, cringe. There's the cartoon eye that I was doing when I was mucking around with all the different little tools and things down here. There's my crappy little caricature, like anime maybe. God, you've got to be really accurate with that. Versus referencing a photo. You can, yeah, you can see the difference. Um, cool. That's it, guys. I'm done. I'm leaving it at that. I'm gonna finish the stream now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you in the next one. All right.